DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We got a lot coming up. Giving away tickets to see the Jazz and the Kings. We'll do that at 8:30. Got to get back to more on Kalani and LaVell, and we will do that. But first, we have to talk to Frank Dolce. DJ, PK, and the former U quarterback, Frank Dolce, on the line. Frank, good morning.
Hey, DJ.
Are you okay? You okay? Are you okay? Are you recovered?
Nope. No, I'm not. No way.
Not.
No. This is the one that goes down in the ages. In 10 years, we're going to be like, do you remember that night that afternoon when Utah decided not to put a run defense on the field? Do you remember that night?
Dude.
Like,
that's what's so crazy about this is that...
Oh, so crazy.
That we're not talking about another prolific offensive showing.
That was a prolific offensive
Yeah, but we're not talking about. We're talking about the incredible defensive lapses.
It gets overshadowed because what do we think about Utah football?
Stop
when
the run.
You say Utah football, yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what you think. Stop the run. And in the past, when Utah's gotten in trouble, they haven't been able to do that. Several years ago, Utah went down to Arizona to play a game. Should have won, been in contention for that game. They gave up like 280, 300 yards rushing in that game, lost the game. It was a lefty quarterback. I can't remember his name, but all of a sudden he's running wild in that game. Utah just couldn't stop the run. That seems to be Utah's Achilles when they can't stop the run, they struggle. And by the way, I think that we mentioned this a week ago, or maybe this has been consistent. Like, Utah has shown some signs of getting gashed in the run game this year, giving up big explosive running plays. So it was almost shocking to see how Kansas State maneuvered.
What's cool about this, Frank, is now you sent DJ on a wild goose chase to find out who that left-handed quarterback was. As soon as you said that, he went right to the typewriter.
It was something else he said that did it, but it was, yes. He did send me on it. You did send me on a hunt. I was thinking, for comebacks, I really... prisoner of the moment, admittedly, but I think the best comeback I'd seen, which I think this just topped, they got off the hook against Air Force one year at home. They went touchdown, 2-point conversion, onside kick, long pass to Dyson, and that was in like 2 minutes. I mean, they really, and it was 2 scores just like this. So there's that, but I can't think of many comebacks like this that have been this dramatic. I do remember once they went down to Rice when they were in that big 16-team whack, and that's what I was looking for.
Not Rice Eccles, just Rice?
To the Rice University in Houston, Texas. And they lost 51-10. And I don't know what they gave up for yardage in that game, but Rice had the option, and they couldn't stop it, and that was a one-time, and I mean, you can count them on one hand, where I saw Kyle Whittingham absolutely perplexed, like, how did that happen? We know better. How did that? Yeah, that was awful. And that team was flying at that point. They were having a great season, and Rice just took them apart, and it wrecked the end of the year.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about this game is, probably a couple things happened. One is Kansas State saw something on film they thought they could exploit. When they went to going into a certain formation, the way the defense aligned, they saw something that they thought, well, you know what, maybe we can take a chance on this. And then they did, and then it kept working. As I looked across that game, it didn't seem to me like they were running variations of that play. Like, they kept running
the exact same thing. Play. Yeah, that's what Kyle said afterwards. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it was such a deceiving, tricky play.
Very. It was so like when I was playing, coaches used to say I was deceptively slow. Like, people couldn't figure it out. But like, okay, so great. Kansas State sees this anomaly that they can exploit. Okay, well, why isn't Utah adjusting on the defensive side? Like, how many times do you have to give up chunk yardage on that particular play before you say, wait a second? And when they
14,
do this,
14 times.
when they go into this alignment, then we're going to shift this. You know, maybe we're going to say we're going to give up something else, but we have to stop this. So that was the thing that was really perplexing is, okay, they run this play, Utah keeps getting gassed. Wait, where's the adjustment? I didn't see that, and maybe
I did.
Maybe I'm overstating it, but that seemed like a big.
The adjustment came at 47-44, Frank, because they gave up the long touchdown run after the fumble, and then there's a 2-point conversion, right? And at that point, I'm 100% sure they're going to lose that game. As soon as Dampier fumbled the ball, they're doomed. They're going to run this right in, and then it's over, right? And by the time you get down on the field, because we were just looking for the elevator, by the time you get down on the field, they've already run the 2-point conversion back, and the offense has the ball and they're driving. You're like, oh, I guess I was wrong. Maybe it's not over. But at 47-44, they tried to throw on first down, and then on second and third, they ran that play. And the Utes stuffed it. It's like, why did you stuff it now? You didn't stuff it all day long. And the only answer I could come up with is, well, because you had to win the game. Maybe they just won so big for so long, they weren't focused. I don't know. I can't explain it. But they had to be focused then, and they were, and they got the stop they had to have.
It may have been, utilizing the adjustment at that point in the game may have been the biggest coaching genius maneuver we've ever seen. Like, maybe they just played all of us the whole time. Like, we're just going to give this up. We're going to and then when it really counts, we're going to make the adjustment. And then we're going to stop it.
I heard a story once of Greg Maddux. They were winning, I think it was against Houston, and they were up big. And one of the better hitters came up, and he threw him a meatball, and the guy hit it out so that when they got in the playoffs, that guy would look for that same pitch, but Maddux would throw something else and get him out. So that's what you guys are insinuating, that they tricked him into thinking, oh, man, and then when the time's running out, they can't even get a first down. That sounds hard to believe.
Yeah, I know. I think the coaches. I think the coaches were saying it. I mean, everybody's got iPads, and like they know what happened right away. They either look at the replay up on the scoreboard or they got the iPad. I mean, everybody knows. And they said it, and it finally sunk in. That's all. It finally sunk into the players, and they finally locked in on. That's what they're doing. This is what I have to do, so that I don't have to chase a guy 80 yards into the end zone and not catch him.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sometimes, I mean, you get this in the broadcasting world as well. Like, sometimes you prepare for something, like you do all of your notes, you get everything all managed, you're ready for the broadcast. The game comes along, and maybe it's not happening the way that you thought it was going to happen, but my gosh, you've prepared all of these interesting things to say, and then, like, even in the most inopportune times, you're working in some fact of whatever you researched. Like, you have to get it in. You've done all the work. Sometimes that happens with a game plan. I've seen that happen with Utah football, mostly on the offensive side, I would say. Not necessarily this year, but in the past. Like, it feels like coaches are preparing for something. They expect something to happen on the defensive side, even if it's not happening exactly that way. Well, you've prepared this all week. We've got to do it rather than having the ability to adjust on the fly. And the interesting thing about that is, I don't think we've ever really said that about this Utah football team or Utah defensively, is they haven't been able to adjust. That seems like one of their stalwarts is, especially if the first half doesn't go well, going at halftime, get it cleaned up. Second half is much different. So whatever it was a very interesting set of circumstances. And Coach Whittingham's right. You never win a game like that. You never win a game when you give up 500 yards on the ground. That just doesn't happen. In fact, I'm so confident that that's the truth. If Utah would have averaged 500 yards rushing for this entire year, there's no question they'd be undefeated.
I would agree with that.
That's not even a thing.
No.
So the thing that we also have to talk about TK, that you're talking about is this never say die attitude. I've been pretty critical, maybe not critical. I mean, I just feel like Dampier throwing the football downfield, that's not his strength. But if you take that piece and all of the other stuff that he does amazingly well,
right,
like on the sidelines, up and down, the game's not over, like the attitude of we're playing until the final whistle and getting everybody engaged on that, even after the fumble, like that's beyond leadership. And so whatever it is, I have to tip my cap to Dampier and his ability to keep that team focused. And
the guy's an incredible leader. And I'm happy for him. It was his finest moment. And there had been, I even got, and my neighbor's probably listening, there's been this surge for Ficklin, and I'm on the field, and I get a text from him at the end of the game towards the end of the game when the media goes down, so we're ready for post game, and he said, "Why aren't they putting in Ficklin?" Well, I mean, you've got an experienced dude, and let him go. And there's been this surge for Ficklin almost to the point, well, he'll be the starter next year. It'll be the kid from L.A., Williams and the Huntley thing all over again. And I think Devin Dampier silenced those people who don't believe in him because he was super dynamic. Yeah, he struggled completing passes he should be able to complete in the first half. That's a fact. But he came back in the second half, and he completed passes that he's capable of completing, plus his ability, the dynamic ability that he has in the run game, and that was his finest moment, and that's why he's a starting quarterback for a team that's going to win 10 games. I realize he sat out one game, but still, he's basically the quarterback for a team that's going to be nationally ranked at the end of the season and is going to probably end up with 11 wins.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I feel like Ficklin still has the higher ceiling. I don't think there's any question about that. But if you're talking intangibles, Bert Ficklin would do well to spend a lot of time in the head of Devin Dampier and understanding how that machine works. Because even with all of the talent and high ceiling and athletic ability, if Ficklin can learn the leadership mentality that Devin Dampier has, oh man, he has a chance of being really, really good. So congratulations to Devin Dampier and just that mindset and willing his team to win when it looked like several times it looked like the game was over.
There was a throw he made, which I thought was better than he could make. I really think that he's really good inside of 15 yards between the numbers. Mm-hmm. He's accurate. He zips the ball in there. And that really means, and you know this, because you're dropping back, right? So you're 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage when you let it go, and there's a little bit of a diagonal to that, so it's going a little more. So the ball's in the air maybe 25 yards tops. The 20-yard touchdown pass, Frank, and maybe I'm making too big a deal of this, but he's 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. It's all the way to the sideline. It's 5 yards deep in the end zone, and he threw it with zip, and it was on the outside shoulder. Simmons had to spin around to catch it, as he should. That's right where it should have been, to throw it away from the defender.
Yes.
That touchdown pass made it 47-44. I think that ball was in the air at least 30 yards, probably closer to 35 yards. Probably some mathematician could tell me. I didn't think he could throw a ball that far, that accurate, that hard. Now, PK's over here right now. This is what he said off the air. It's 100% honest. He's like, oh, come on. Because at 50 yards, we all know that's too much. Did that throw surprise you in the moment, or did you think nothing of it and that he could throw that throw?
Well, I would say that throw is more aligned with what Dampier can do in the passing game. And, I mean, it's not like he doesn't have ability. That throw demonstrates it. He does struggle throwing the ball downfield. And there's quarterbacks who have those two different pieces. Like there's guys that struggle throwing the ball underneath or struggle throwing that 10, 12-yard out. But all of a sudden you throw the ball downfield, and it's this beautiful, high, arcing spiral right on the outside shoulder. I mean, everything looks magical. So I think it's just that's the portion of the throw game where Dampier excels, and especially if he gets all of the stuff right. Sometimes he doesn't, like, mechanically it's not perfectly sound, and so that leads to some distress. But when he gets everything right, he has the ability to throw the ball really well, and that was an example of it.
Right. It's just that he's not going to go 32 for 40 for 420 yards.
No, I mean, I kept trying to will him into that. Like, come on, Dampier's got to complete 65% of his passes, and they have, I keep trying to will him into it. It's just not his game.
Right.
Well, and
even when it was going poorly in the first half, some of that was on him, but some of it was on his receivers. There's one play in particular.
Sure.
It was zone, and the guy thought it was man, and he kept running.
Yeah.
And so the ball was behind him. And you could even cut to him, and he's like, dude, that's the zone. You got to stop right there. If you keep running and I throw it, I'm going to get you blown up. So stop.
Yep.
But it made it look like it was a bad throw, and really it was a bad read by the receiver.
Yeah. There's a statistic in football, 97% of the time when it looks like a bad throw, it's actually the receiver's fault.
Said the quarterback.
I read that stat.
You read that too?
I looked in the bibliography, and I saw your name.
And 84% of all.
Yeah, you can footnote me on that.
Footnote Frank Dolce. Yeah. So now if they learn their lesson and they won't be fat and happy, and the run defense will look like the run defense we expected, and the Utes will go out and handle Kansas Friday.
Well, I hope they're dialed in after that performance. That's embarrassing. Like, if I'm Utah defensively, that's an embarrassing effort, and I think it's from top to bottom. And by the way, the architect of that, Kyle Whittingham, I mean, that's not the legacy he wants to leave. That's his defense. He has his thumbprint all over that defense. I know it's Morgan Scalley and his crew running it, but there's a lot of pride up top, and I understand that he was very direct in his commentary at halftime regarding what was happening defensively on the field. So, I mean, I would not be surprised to see that defense very focused on the task at hand, which is Kansas, on the road. And, yes, it's a very winnable game for Utah, but I don't think you can take a different mentality into that game. It still has to be our survival depends on week to week winning games. And so there's nothing past this. There's nothing behind us. The only focus is going and taking care of the Jayhawks. I really think this could be a good week for Utah defensively.
Frank, we'll leave it right there. We appreciate it as always.
All right, you guys, you're the best. Hey, I hope you both have an amazing Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for both of you.
Thank you.
We're thankful for you. We're thankful you come on every week and entertain us. Happy Thanksgiving,
it's my
Frank.
pleasure. All right, guys.
There's Frank Dolce, DJ, and PK. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll give away tickets to see the Utah Jazz and the Sacramento Kings Friday night. Have some turkey leftovers and head over and see a game. We'll be looking for caller 12 after the break. Stay with us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Here we go.
It all comes down to this for BYU. Beat UCF, and the Cougars will be in Arlington for the Big 12 title game.
Take it into the end zone!
As BYU looks to keep their drained season alive, keep it locked on a Zone for complete coverage of BYU football every step of the way. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Okay, all right.
DJ and PK, it's the Utah Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Good news for you. If you want to go see the Sacramento Kings Friday night at the Delta Center, we have tickets every hour on the half hour starting right now. Caller 12, 801-575-ZONE. Wins a pair of tickets to see the Jazz and the Kings. And we'll give tickets away again at 9:30 and at 10:30 and 11. Well, you get the idea. Go get them. Yak is ready and waiting. Question of the morning up on our Facebook page is Kalani Sitake, the new LaVell Edwards. Mark, I'd say he's the original Kalani Sitake.
Nah.
Joe says, if you mean will Kalani be a lifer like LaVell, then I hope so.
That could be.
Eldon, no one can beat Coach Edwards. Kalani is his own man, and a great one at that. He's going with little apples and oranges right
but
there.
we're not saying literally. Can he reproduce the type of success? Sure, LaVell wasn't dancing as he came into the stadium and walked across the south end zone to go up the ramp into his locker room. I get that. Right. And he doesn't dance after the game. That would have been awesome to see. Or he didn't dance after the game. And nobody had his dry wit personality, but can he be the type of coach who can run a program similar to what Coach Edwards had? Because I think you can say he can be the next LaVell Edwards, because LaVell Edwards has had a profound influence on him. And if people have profound influences upon anyone, you tend to take on those characteristics that made them have profound influences. It's Kyle Whittingham. He's got the way he deals with the media, LaVell Edwards. His defensive philosophies, his father. So the folks that had influenced him, yes, he's part of that. Is he the next Ron McBride or the next whomever? No, he's the first Kyle Whittingham. But the influences are there. Fred Whittingham, Freddie's the son. Fred Whittingham, Big Fred, they called him. Yes, that there's a direct connection between the two in the way he coaches football.
I think the biggest reason I said no when you threw this out, and I just instinctively said no.
Because you're argumentative.
Okay,
That's why.
That's a reason, but I don't think it's the biggest reason. But that is a reason. I think that LaVell, you get out there, there's like 3 generations worth of coaches. Now we've all heard, it's changed and you can't go on that long and all that. And I get that. And Kalani doesn't have to, literally coach 29 years before he's the next LaVell Edwards. But do you think he wants to do this for another decade?
Ooh, I can't answer that with any degree of certainty.
Because my immediate response was, no, he doesn't. In which case, he just can't have a long enough run. LaVell Edwards is defined by a lot of things, but one thing that's going to be really hard for anybody to match is the run went on so long. Now, you can say times have changed and all that, and they have, and so that maybe if you do what Kyle has done with 21 years as the head coach, if this is his last year, and another decade there, a little more than a decade, I think, as an assistant coach and coordinator, that's good enough. I don't literally need 29 years, but it's like generationally, there's people who can't remember going up there and not seeing Kyle standing on the sideline. Maybe a younger Kyle, less wrinkles and, but whatever.
Oh, you think he has wrinkles?
Yeah, he's got a couple.
I want you to tell him that.
I was going to say something else.
See how that goes over.
I didn't want to say what else I was going to say.
Can I see Kalani Sitake coaching at 60? I can.
Because then if he does
That's
that.
20 years. He's 10 years, he's 50.
And I assume that he keeps winning like this because you don't get to stay if you don't keep winning like this. Of course. But if you keep winning in this ballpark.
I don't know if he's going to win like this.
21
and
10 may be
24?
high. I know. And 10 and 11 win seasons may be high, but they better be 8 and 9 win seasons because you don't get to stick around that long if you crank out a bunch of 5, 6, and 7 win seasons. So, and if you look at LaVell, he didn't win at the same clip the last 10 years that he did in the heyday of the late 70s and early 80s. And partly that was the schedule got tougher, and partly that was the conference got better. And partly
changed.
here's another
People
thing.
Knew how to defend it more.
Right. And here's another thing is LaVell had to deal with a lot of changes on his coaching staff, and he eventually settled on a group of guys who were there a long time, but he did go through significant change. Everybody was there. It's before you and I, but everybody was there says like Doug Scoville was awesome, and he was a big part of LaVell's success. And he left, and they kept having huge success. So you lose someone that valuable and you adjust. Now, if Kalani stays there, he's going to go through that. He's not going to have Jay Hill and A-Rod here forever. No. But he's basically 2 defensive coordinators and 2 offensive coordinators in a decade. So let's see if he can sustain this when inevitably has to change.
That many. I don't think.
No, it's not that many. It's been fairly consistent. But that's the point. He'll have to deal. He may have his Mike Holmgren, someone who comes through here.
They'll be fine in that way, because in my conversations, intense conversations with the assistants, is that they love working for him because he allows them so much freedom to do what they want. They feel extremely valued. Now, the salaries have gone up, so they're well compensated. And if you're looking at the two coordinators, they're also from here, which means their kids are here. And,
all these things make it harder to leave, but not impossible.
You never know.
Right.
What's going to go down the road. So I can see him coaching, because I think he really enjoys the influence he has upon, the positive influence that he has upon young lives. He needs to be in a situation where he is dealing with people, because he is the ultimate people person. He was that. I covered him as a player. Literally, I covered him as a player, as a beat writer. Yeah. And that's who he was as a player, and as an assistant coach. His wife, himself, they would talk to you. They would just want to be your friend, and I can see him doing something else, maybe in athletic administration, where he could have that influence. But at the same time, I could see him coaching because he enjoys it. He's just a give and take kind of guy. He loves give and take. He loves communicating, and it doesn't seem like it's bothering him. I think he's getting, to his credit, I don't think there's any question he's getting tired of, well, should you pile it on? Our boy right over there asked it on Monday. You're going to put in the reserves when you kick the crap out of them?
Have you watched me?
What you said.
Have you watched me coach? Have you watched me coach, Jake?
It's got to be on the record.
Right, but he's not going down that road. He doesn't want to talk about blowing teams out, but yet he's shown patience, because the question has been asked to him 40 different ways 100 times. And he's going to let the chips fall where they may. And as I said yesterday, you know where you can go, that committee, if they don't put in an 11-1 BYU team. That's a joke. It's a joke to the conference. And I can't believe Mark Harlan wouldn't be fighting for that, because it's his conference, and his team very well could go 11-1 next year. Who knows? If not next year, the year after.
They're all in the same boat.
Yeah, right. So he's representing a bigger situation than the University of Utah, and he knows that full well. And so Kalani's handled this with grace, and he doesn't want to talk about it, and he just wants to keep task on. And it's hard to argue, because the results are there. You could be the weirdest, most different dude, which some people say Bronco was, but when he's winning 11 games, 10 games, 11 games, be as weird as you want.
There's no doubt about that. We could get 50 examples across coaching,
right.
Multiple sports, college, pro, probably high school for that matter.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Kalani doesn't want to go outside of, hey, humble, hungry, blah, blah, blah. I just want to, I don't know if we're going to win the game like that, blah, blah, blah. And so he's not going to go with the style points. And the fans can get all frustrated all they want, but you're 10-1, and you're a double-digit favorite at home to go 11-1. Come on, man. What more could you possibly want?
I just think that from years of watching games and talking to people like Riley Jensen, who does this for a living, I think for him to vary from that message now, when it's clearly working with a bunch of 19 and 23-year-olds and whatever, it's working. Don't change it. That's what they – and you could have this realistic thing about you need these style points to do whatever and all that, but he's the coach, and he can't put that in the minds of his players. He couldn't – he shouldn't. It doesn't matter what he really thinks or what he and A-Rod and Jay Hill and K-Pop talk about whenever they're sitting in a room. It's just the four of them. But, man, when they go out and talk to those players, can't put that in their mind. The humble and hungry thing is resonating. It's producing results.
Whatever.
Stay on that message.
Right. Why would you change? You'd be a fool to change.
100%.
So I think that along the road that he's going, he won't be the same, but he can. The point is, can he carve out the same legacy? I think it's possible.
Oh, if you go from has he to can he, then can he? Yes, he can. if he wants to. I think to do that, you have to do it for a long time. And everybody we hear doing this is like, I can't do it for that long a time. But, there was a time Kyle Whittingham turned 50 and said he wasn't going to be coaching when he was 60, and now here he is at 66, so people get to change their mind.
If he goes 55, that's 15 years. That's plenty.
Oh, so you think another 5, he could have that kind of...
In terms of if he can create the type of legacy that LaVell Edwards created. LaVell Edwards will always be the original. You can't replace the original. Right. It doesn't matter.
Which is part of the reason. Yeah, and that's part of the reason I said no.
But can he have a similar type of legacy? Yes.
If he wins like this for 5 more years, then you're right. He'll have quite the legacy.
Yeah.
If he keeps trucking along at 10 or 11
Kalani Sitake Field at LaVell Edwards Stadium. Brought to you by Maverick.
Now, somebody put that in there about having the field. Oh, here it is. Tony, the time and season that Kalani is coaching, 100 times harder than when LaVell coached. No disrespect to LaVell. Kalani is 10 years away from having the field named after him.
Yeah.
And Hector hits it with love LaVell, but spot on. The one thing that Kalani has to do, and it's different, Kalani has to measure up to the standard that's been set before, right? With Bronco with the 4 in a row in double digits. And LaVell, I think, had 10 double-digit win seasons. So to measure up to that is its own burden, whereas LaVell's burden was different. He had to create something out of nothing. There was no history, tradition. There was a track around it. It seated 30,000. It wasn't an event.
That's why he'll always be the original.
Right, yeah. So that's where it's total apples and oranges.
And he joked that he figured he'd be fired in a few years.
He did 3 years. And every time they won a conference title, he thought, I got 3 more years now.
And that will never be replaced unless they get somebody to throw $20 trillion. But I don't think anybody with BYU will, because nobody will mess with the name LaVell Edwards. There was some guys right after him who sort of messed with that name.
Went over very poorly. It did not work well.
Yeah, that's minimally. Right. You don't mess with that. You just don't. And that'll always be there. It'll be there literally for as long as this planet exists playing BYU football. But Kalani can carve out his thing to where he is right there. And they need to honor that, too. You walk around Notre Dame's football stadium, and you see the statues, and they're all there, right?
And it's awesome.
And that's what they need to do there.
Walk around Fenway.
All over the place.
Yeah, right.
Oh, my gosh.
It's great.
It was so cool going to the St. Louis Cardinal Stadium. They had all these statues over there, and then they got Stan Musial over here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
And
as fans, we all eat that stuff up.
Oh, yeah.
I heard about this guy. I never saw him play. Stan Musial. But he said that to my dad. My dad's like, Stan Musial. Yeah. That guy could hit.
I looked it up. He had the exact same number of hits on the road as he had at home. This is awesome, right? You go to whatever they're calling the Giants ballpark. They got statues around, but they got Willie right in
And
front.
having been to that ballpark a lot, I don't think I've ever walked by that when there weren't people taking photos.
Of course.
I mean, it's just automatic. We're here, we got to.
Yes, and that's what they do. And Kalani has that great opportunity to put himself on that plateau.
That part I buy.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a decade away. I mean, because the longevity
he's still
thing with
going right now.
Yeah, I know. It's a decade. You were saying 5 years. I'd go 10.
If he quits after 5, another 5. If he, I said I could see him coaching when he's 60, which is 10, because he just turned 50 last month. Mm-hmm. That'll put him at 20. That's plenty of time to carve out a significant legacy.
Yep. The kind of legacy where you are such an institution that people outside the state turn on the game and expect to see you on the sideline the same way they did with LaVell.
Yes.
The level of familiarity, no matter who they played, no matter who the announcers were on whatever network, it was just BYU and LaVell.
When he's done coaching, he's totally retired, that they need to run Bronco Mendenhall out there. Because Bronco Mendenhall took over a program that was in complete disarray.
And they could have lost the plot.
And he turned it freaking around the first year, and the second year they were off and running. And Bronco Mendenhall needs to be out there and needs to be applauded for it.
And the storytelling around the stadium with banners, with statues, with plaques, however you do it, it needs to be out there. People eat that stuff
up.
He
needs to be in their Hall of Fame.
And it's good for your program. All right, DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Whirls around and down.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone is your exclusive home of the Utah Jazz. And we want to send you to the Delta Center to see the Jazz in action. Listen every Tuesday for the Jazz Ticket Tuesday Sounder at 30 past the hour, every hour, all day long. And if you're caller number 12, you'll be on your way to an upcoming game.
Buy one, you'll get one free.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, every Tuesday throughout the NBA season on your radio home for the Utah Jazz. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The John Watson Northern Utah High School Player of the Week award goes to Ridgeline High School quarterback Nate Dolly. He completed 16 of 20 passes for 270 yards and 4 touchdowns, ran for 30 yards and an additional 3 scores, and the Riverhawks 56-0 shutout of Green Canyon to win the 4A state title. See why new and used car buyers give John Watson Chevrolet more 5-star reviews than any other Chevy dealer in Utah. John Watson Chevrolet, your 5-star Chevy dealer.
Well, hello, Dolly.
All right, DJ and PK, your Utah Jazz, PK. Did a few things right, did a few things wrong. This is the old Rorschach test that people were referencing earlier when we were talking about the Olympic logo. You can see what you want to see in this game. On the one hand, the bad news was they gave up 134 points, 41 in the second, 39 in the third. That's 80 points in 2 quarters. That is terrible. Defensively, they're a mess, but you can write that off. Well, they don't have Kessler. They don't have rim protection. And look at the young guys develop offensively. There's the positive. Some young guys putting the biscuit in the basket on a regular basis.
I think they got 3 keepers right now.
Ace Bailey, Keontae George, Lowry Markkinen.
No.
You're not counting Markkinen. You're counting younger
No,
draft
I'm
picks.
counting Markkinen.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you're counting younger draft picks and
No.
setting him aside.
No, they got 3 keepers.
Those 3 guys could play for a lot of teams. A lot of teams would be happy to have those guys on their roster.
Yeah, but I'm looking for more than just make a roster because they got more than that.
Okay, rotation or a lineup.
Help you win.
Implied, yes.
Help you win 50 games. You're not getting anywhere in the postseason until you win 50 games.
That is how that works.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my standard. And then go from there. You still may get bounced in the first round if you win 50 games, but you got to get to 50 games.
Yeah, but if you're winning 46 games, exactly how deep do you think you're going?
It just doesn't work that way.
It does not.
Right. So my mindset is, how can this organization get to 50? That's my goal for them. As soon as possible, obviously, as it is for everybody. What's it going to take to get that? And right now, I can look at 3 players that can help them get there. And that's obviously not enough. And there may be more, but I say right now.
Filipowski, Collier, Sensabaugh, you're on deck. Can you do it? Hendricks, Williams, Clayton, other draft picks out there. What do you guys got?
I'm not willing to go there with any of them. Now, if you tell me Collier can come in and give you 15 minutes as a backup, okay.
Yep.
But I got to have a nucleus of guys.
No, I get why you went to Keontae George, Ace Bailey, and Lowry Markkinen. Those are the guys who seem capable of scoring it.
So
it is an offensive game. You can't really play guys out there who can't score it.
That's my starting point, and which then means they've got a long way to go.
Fact.
And what I'm very much hoping for, I'll be the first to admit,
so
man.
does Kessler count as 4 when he's back next year? Assuming he signs the extension or they match whatever he gets offered?
I got to see.
Yeah.
This time next year, I may say yeah, but not right now.
I'd be really surprised if they don't match whatever he is offered.
I know, but now he's got this injury. How's he going to come back? And you're going to miss the whole season. You just don't blow off a whole season-ending injury. I want to see. If he was on the track that he was and picked up, and he had been in the few that he played this year, I'd probably there's no doubt I'd put him in there. But right now, he's kind of off to the side.
That he is.
Right.
He's on the shelf for the rest of the year.
And so by Thanksgiving next year, when we're sitting here, I say they got 4. And I want to say they have 5 because I'm hoping that they get that draft pick. And I'll be the first to admit, man, I'm hoping they lose every game.
They have. I looked at the schedule and saw like these next 4 games. Maybe they can win a couple.
I hope they lose all 4.
And then after that, they are going to be underdogs every night the rest of the year. Calendar year, not season.
No, I
But
do
rest of
want to
calendar
have.
year.
They got to have some success. So it's not like I want them to lose every game.
I get that. You can't take the hope away from them. You got to give them a little positive feedback every once in a while. But
Right.
take a look during the break. We'll talk about it in the 9 o'clock hour and see how many wins you see out there.
But I want to see what I saw Sunday night.
Sunday night, Laker game, 108-106. Hit some big shots to set up a big shot, but then missed that one. Whew, thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Lowry, don't be hitting too many in a row here, huh?
Right.
Leave one short. And he did.
Yeah.
All right, DJ and PK, when we come back, he covers UCF. UCF is coming to town to face BYU. It is senior day in Provo. We'll talk with Matt Michelle, UCF and college football writer for the Orlando Sentinel right after the break. Stay with us.